Viewers, now when Tigray Defense Force has largely withdrawn from Amhara and Afar regions after suffering military setbacks, what is the planning of Ethiopian National Defense Force and regional forces, especially Amhara regional forces and Amhara militias? Do they have a plan? Do they want to enter Tigray? How deep do they want to go into Tigray? We have got some information about new strategy of Ethiopian National Defense Force and Amhara forces. Afar forces as well, Eritreans could be on board too. Before elaborating upon this new strategy, I want to make 2 points, viewers. Firstly, when in November 2020, Eritrean forces, Amhara forces, and other regional forces entered Tigray, we saw human rights abuses committed in Tigray. Properties were looted too. Tigray's economy was shattered. Then in July, Tigray forces entered Amhara and Afar regions, and Tigray forces did not pull any punches. We saw similar destruction and devastation in Amhara and Afar regions. Same human rights abuses were committed by Tigray forces too. Now Tigray forces have largely withdrawn. Will Amhara militias, Amhara forces, Afar forces launch another wave of revengeful attacks? Will this cycle keep on going? So a lot depends upon Amhara Fano militias, Amhara leaders. Do they want to stop now, or do they want to reciprocate? Because obviously Tigray fighters are involved in destruction which we are seeing in the Amhara region. What will Amhara leadership do? That's very important when we're analyzing the future strategy of Amhara and Ethiopian National Defense Force. Secondly, Southern Tigray viewers, Quorum Alamata. We know that Southern Tigray and Western Tigray, they have been disputed between Tigray and Amhara. Western Tigray is already under the control of Amhara forces, Eritrean ENDF, Omra, Volkai, Sagade, Dansha, all are under Amhara ENDF control. Will they try to take back Southern Tigray to Amhara forces? Yes, they will. I think they'll try to take back Alamata, Quorum, Araya region. What we have learned so far, they're not stopping. They are entering. They're trying to get as much of Southern Tigray as they can. Now, these 2 points are linked to the strategy of ENDF and regional forces. What is their ultimate strategy about Tigray? Firstly, they do not want to capture main cities and towns of Tigray, like Mekelle, like Aksum, Shere. So they will not launch a full-scale military operation from east, west, north, or south side to capture Mekelle or to capture other main towns and cities. Point number 1. While they won't capture any of these major towns and cities, they'll try to tighten the siege. They'll try to narrow the circle of siege. They'll try to make the circle of siege narrow. So from the east, from afar, from south, Amhara, from west, Southern Tigray, and from north, Eritreans, will see small-scale attacks operations towards Tigray. The purpose of these attacks would be to tighten the siege. Tigray is still under siege. It does not have a corridor with any country. The siege will be tightened while Amhara forces, ENDF Eritreans will not launch a full-scale invasion of Tigray. But they'll tighten the siege, they'll try to narrow down the circle of this siege. Last point. They'll try to put pressure to keep Tigray government under pressure to stop it from functioning. That is the best way to make people of Tigray turn against TPLF. That they'll continue drone strikes on Mekelle, on other places from where TPLF or Tigray leadership will try to govern Tigray. So they'll try to make Tigray into a dysfunctional region. People in need of aid, people in need of food, they would try to create splits between the people of Tigray and the leadership of Tigray. They'll try to make Tigray leadership run from Mekelle. And they'll try to make the people of Tigray turn against Tigray leadership. They've been saying that they want to ensure that TPLF will not be in a position to carry out any attacks. Tigray without TDF, Tigray without TPLF is acceptable to Ethiopian government. Tigray without TDF, Tigray without TPLF is acceptable to Amhara leaders as well. So in order to form Tigray without TPLF and without TDF, they would try to keep Tigray government under pressure. They would not allow it to function smoothly. Tigray leadership, TDF and TPLF leaders, they will be targets of drone strikes. They will try to make them run towards mountainous areas. At the same time, they will not capture Mekelle. They will not capture big cities. The purpose of this strategy is to make the people of Tigray turn against TPLF and TDF. Interesting strategy. Will it work or not? That remains to be seen. In coming videos, we'll try to analyze the likely effectiveness of this strategy. How will Tigray Defense Force, how will Tigray People Liberation Front counter this strategy adopted by Eritrean forces, Ethiopian National Defense Forces and regional forces? That would be a test of their military and political skills too. International support is not going to come to the rescue of TPLF and TDF. TPLF and TDF are on their own. Tricky question and decision for them is whether to remain in towns and cities and defend Tigray, or to retreat from main towns and cities of Tigray towards mountainous areas and continue guerrilla warfare in those areas, like we saw between November 2020 and June, when Tigray forces were fighting mostly in Central Tigray. Central Tigray was their headquarters, it was their power base, from where they then gradually spread towards other places. What will TDF do now? Will it fight from Mekelle, Aksum, Shire, or from Tambian? How will it ensure, how will Tigray government ensure service delivery to the people of Tigray? People of Tigray are in need of aid. They want food, they want shelters, they want water. But Tigray is under siege. No aid is being allowed to enter Tigray. So it would be a test of the people of Tigray, Tigray leadership. How will they survive? The next videos will try to analyze the likely effectiveness of this strategy and TDF's counter strategy, which TDF might adopt in coming days. Thanks for watching.